We are a tiny part of a universe that is made of an infinite amount of space, matter, and time. There is more space than matter. All matter is made of particles of light. Light particles are the base unit of all matter, from the tiniest particles to the largest galaxies. In this sense, light particles are the most basic atoms. The universe has no start or end. The same light particles that have always been continue to move in the space that has always been. Matter in motion can never be created or destroyed. Matter can never be converted into motion, and motion can never be converted into matter. Light particles become trapped with each other and so form structures such as protons, atoms, molecules, planets, stars, galaxies, and clusters of galaxies. All of the billions of galaxies we can see are only a tiny part of the universe. We will never see most of the universe because no light particles from there can ever reach us. There is a pattern in the universe. Light particles move from highly dense volumes of space to volumes of less density. In low-density volumes, light particles slowly accumulate to form atoms of hydrogen and helium, which exist as gas clouds like the Magellanic Clouds or Orion Nebula. These gas clouds, called nebulae, continue to accumulate trapped light particles. At points of high density, planets and stars form, and the cloud is eventually dense enough to become a galaxy of stars. The stars emit light particles back out to the rest of the universe, where the light again becomes trapped and forms new clouds. Around each star are many planets and pieces of matter. On many of the planets rotating around stars, living objects evolve that can copy themselves by converting matter around them into more of them. Living objects need matter to replace matter lost from the constant emitting of light particles, decay. Like bacteria, these living objects grow in number, with the most successful organisms occupying and moving around many stars. These advanced organisms then move the group of stars they control as a globular cluster away from the plane of the spiral galaxy. As time continues, all of the stars of a galaxy are occupied by living objects who have organized their stars into globular clusters, and these globular clusters together form a globular galaxy. The globular galaxy may then exist for a long time, living off the matter in stars in addition to matter from external sources. So free light particles are trapped into volumes of space that grow in density, first forming atoms, then gas clouds, then stars, a spiral galaxy, and finally a globular galaxy. Stars at our scale may be light particles at a much larger scale, just as light particles at our scale may be stars at a much smaller scale. This system may go on infinitely in both a larger and smaller scale. An expanding universe seems unlikely to me. The supposed redshifted calcium absorption lines may be a mistaken observation. For one reason, because spectrum size changes the position of spectral lines, and because the distance of a light source changes the position but not the frequency of spectral lines. The Milky Way nebula starts to form. The first star in the Milky Way galaxy forms. Atoms may form near the surface of planets and stars. Living objects in the Milky Way galaxy reach another star using a ship. The first globular cluster of 100,000 stars in the Milky Way galaxy. The star Earth orbits forms. Planets form around our star. Like the star, they are red hot with liquid rock and metals on the surface. Lighter atoms move to the surface of the planets. Larger planets are surrounded by gas. The moon of Earth is captured. Planet Earth cools. Molten liquid rock turns into a solid crust. Water condenses and falls to the surface, filling the lowest parts of the land to make the first Earth oceans, lakes, and rivers. Start of the Precambrian, the Hadean Eon. Oldest meteorite, oldest moon rock, oldest terrestrial zircon, evidence that the crust and liquid water are on the surface of Earth. Larger molecules form on Earth, like amino acids, phosphates, and sugars, the components of living objects. The initial building blocks of living objects are easily formed, but assembling them into longer chain molecules or polymers is more difficult. Possibly all proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids are strictly the products of living objects. Nucleic acids form on Earth. Ribonucleic acid, RNA, may be the first nucleic acid to form. One of these RNA molecules may be the ancestor of all of life on Earth. The first proteins on Earth. Transfer RNA molecules evolve tRNA and link amino acids into proteins using other RNA molecules, messenger or mRNA, as a template. A protein can copy RNA. This protein is called an RNA polymerase. For the first time, a nucleic acid functions both as a template for building proteins with the help of tRNA molecules and also as a template for building other nucleic acid molecules. The ribosome evolves. First ribosomal RNA, rRNA. The ribosome may function as a protocell, providing a platform for more efficient protein production. A single RNA may contain all the instructions needed to make more ribosomes. Ribosomes are the cellular organelles that carry out protein synthesis through a process called translation. The first deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA molecule. A protein evolves that allows DNA to be assembled from RNA. A protein can copy DNA molecules, a DNA polymerase. Transcription, a protein assembles RNA from DNA. The first cell on Earth, a bacterium. DNA is surrounded by a membrane made of proteins. The first cytoplasm. This cell may form in either fresh or salt water, near the sunlit water surface, or near underwater volcanoes on the ocean floor. DNA protected by cytoplasm is more likely to survive and be copied. Start of binary cell division. This cell structure forms the basis of all future cells of every living object on Earth. Cells make the first lipids on Earth: fats, oils, waxes. A phospholipid bilayer evolves around the cell. Operins allow selective protein assembly. Facilitated diffusion. Proteins in the cell membrane allow only certain molecules to enter the cell. Cellular respiration. Glycolysis evolves in the cytoplasm. Cells can make ATP from glucose. ATP is the molecule that drives most cellular work. Fermentation evolves. Cells can make lactic acid. Fermentation of ethanol evolves. Active transport evolves. Proteins transport molecules into and out of the cytoplasm. Prokaryote flagellum. Archaea, also called archaebacteria, evolve. The eubacteria hypothermophiles evolve. Aquifex, Thermatoga. Archaea crenarchaeota, Cephalobus. Archaea euryarchaeota, methanogens, halobacteria, earliest cell response to light. The first autotrophic cells, cells that can produce some of their own food. Photosynthesis. Bacteria use light particles to convert carbon dioxide gas and an electron donor like hydrogen sulfide into glucose, water, and sulfur, also called carbon fixation. This is the ancestor of photosystem 1. Photosynthesis, photosystem 2 evolves. Cells emit free oxygen. Bacteria use light particles to convert carbon dioxide gas and water into glucose, releasing oxygen gas in the process. This is the main system responsible for producing the oxygen now in the air of Earth. End of Hadean, start of Archean eon. Filamentous multicellularity evolves in prokaryotes. Photosynthetic bacteria grow in filaments. Cells stay fastened together after cell division. Cell differentiation evolves in filamentous prokaryotes, creating organisms with different kinds of cells. Nitrogen fixation. Cells can make nitrogen compounds like ammonia from nitrogen gas in the air. Aerobic cellular respiration. First aerobic or oxygenic cell. These cells use oxygen to convert glucose into carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. Oldest physical evidence for life. Ratio of carbon-13 to carbon-12 in grains of ancient minerals. Life uses the lighter carbon-12 isotope. Oldest sediment, the Banded Iron Formation, begins. Banded Iron Formation is sedimentary rock that spans from 3.8 to 1.8 billion years ago, made of iron-rich silicates with alternating layers of black-colored reduced iron and red-colored oxidized iron, and represents a seasonal rise and fall of free oxygen in the ocean, possibly linked to photosynthetic organisms. Oldest fossil evidence of life. Stromatolites. Oldest fossils of an organism, similar to cyanobacteria. 2.8 billion years will pass before the first animal evolves. Earliest fossils of coccoid, spherical bacteria. Prokaryote reproduction by budding. Earliest acritarch fossils, unicellular microfossils with uncertain affinity. These acritarchs are also the earliest possible eukaryote fossils. Eubacteria firmicutes evolve. Gram-positive bacteria, cause of botulism, tetanus, anthrax. First, endospores. The ability to form endospores evolves in Firmicutes. An endospore is a tough, reduced, dry form of a bacterium that can be revived after long periods of time. Eubacteria, proteobacteria evolve. Rickettsia, ancestor of all mitochondria, gonorrhea, salmonella, E. coli. Gender and sex conjugation evolve in Escherichia coli bacteria. Conjugation is the exchange of DNA plasmids by a donor male bacterium through a P-less to a recipient female bacterium. Proteins that can cut or connect strands of DNA evolve. The first virus evolves. These cells depend on the DNA duplicating in protein production systems of other cells to copy themselves. Eubacteria planktomycetes, or planktobacteria. Eubacteria actinobacteria. Gram-positive, source of streptomycin. Eubacteria spirochetes. Syphilis, Lyme disease. Eubacteria bacteroidetes. Eubacteria chlamydia evolve. Eubacteria chlorobi, green sulfur bacteria, eubacteria verrucomicrobia. Endo and exocytosis evolve. Cells can now eat other cells. In endocytosis, the plasma membrane folds inward to bring substances into the cell. In exocytosis, substances contained in vesicles are released from the cell. Eukaryotic cell, the first cell with a nucleus, the first protist. The nucleus may develop from the infolding of plasma membrane. In prokaryotic cells, the DNA is not membrane enclosed, while in eukaryotic cells, most of the DNA is contained in a nucleus. Eukaryotic cells are generally much larger than prokaryotic cells. Unlike prokaryotic cells, eukaryotic cells have a cytoskeleton. Eukaryotic cells may have mitochondria and plastids, which prokaryotic cells lack. DNA in prokaryotic cells is usually a single circular chromosome, while DNA in the nucleus of eukaryotes contains linear chromosomes. Like prokaryotes, the cell is probably haploid, a single unique DNA. Most eukaryotes are diploid, having two sets of DNA. All protists, fungi, animals, and plant cells descend from this common eukaryotic cell. Earliest molecular fossil evidence of eukaryotes: styrene molecules. The endoplasmic reticulum evolves, a membrane system that extends from the nucleus, important in the synthesis of proteins and lipids. Cytoskeleton forms in eukaryote cytoplasm. The eukaryote flagellum and cilia evolve. The circular chromosome in the eukaryote nucleus changes into linear chromosomes. Eukaryote Golgi apparatus evolves, packages proteins and lipids into vesicles for delivery to targeted destinations. The nucleolus evolves. The nucleolus is a sphere in the nucleus that makes ribosomal RNA. Mitosis evolves in eukaryote cells. Mitosis is the process in eukaryotic cell division in which the duplicated chromosomes are separated and the nucleus divides, resulting in two new nuclei, each of which contains an identical copy of the parental chromosomes. Mitosis is usually immediately followed by division of the cytoplasm. Eukaryote sex evolves. Two identical cells fuse, isogamy. First diploid cell. First zygote. Increase in genetic variety. Because of sex, two cells with different DNA can mix, providing more genetic variety. Having two chromosome sets always provides a backup copy of important genes. All sexual species alternate between haploid and diploid. This begins the haplontic life cycle. Mitosis only occurs in the haploid phase. The only diploid cell is the zygote. Meiosis evolves. One-step meiosis, a single-cell division of a diploid cell into two haploid cells. Meiosis is similar to mitosis but reduces the number of chromosomes from diploid to haploid, making gametes in animals and spores in plants. Gender in eukaryotes evolves. Anisogamy, sex, cell and nucleus fusion between two cells that are different in size or shape. Oogamy, a form of anisogamy, evolves in protists, sex between a flagellated gamete and an unflagellated gamete. Two-step meiosis, diploid DNA copies and then the cell divides twice into four haploid cells. Eubacteria Deinococcus thermus. Eubacteria cyanobacteria, ancestor of all plastids. Eubacteria chloroflexi, green non-sulfur bacteria. End of the Archean and start of the Proterozoic eon. The Proterozoic spans from 2,500 to 542 million years ago and represents 42% of Earth's history. Bacteria live on land. Start of 200 million year ice age. The oldest red beds, iron oxide formed on land, began here and are also evidence of more free oxygen in the air of Earth. A parasitic bacterium closely related to Rickettsia, an aerobic proteobacteria, is captured by a eukaryote and through endosymbiosis becomes the mitochondria. Mitochondria are organelles in most eukaryotic cells and are where cellular respiration occurs and most of the ATP is produced. Earliest large filamentous fossil, Grippania. Grippania spiralis is about 10 centimeters long and is thought to be either a green alga or a large cyanobacterium. If eukaryote, Grippania would be the earliest eukaryote fossil. End of the banded iron formation. First homeobox genes evolve. These genes regulate the building of major body parts in algae, plants, fungi, and animals. The ancestor of all living eukaryotes divides into bicont and unicont descendants. Biconts lead to all chromalveolates, excavates, rhizaria, and plants. Uniconts lead to all amoebozoa, animals, and fungi. Protists amoebozoa, amoebas and slime molds, feeding using pseudopods. Colonialism, where cells form a colony, evolves for the first time in eukaryotes. First plastids. Cyanobacteria form plastids through symbiosis within a eukaryote cell. Like mitochondria, these organelles copy themselves and are not made by the cell DNA. First plant, ancestor of all green and red algae and land plants. This begins the plant kingdom. This first plant is unicellular. Protists opisthoconts, ancestor of fungi, coenoflagellates, and animals. Plant Glaucophyta. Plants Chlorophyta evolve. Green algae, ancestor of volvox, sea lettuce, spirogyra, and stoneworts. Plant red algae evolves. Rhodophyta. Protists excavates, includes parabasalids and diplomonads like Giardia. Filamentous multicellularity in eukaryotes evolves. Differentiation in multicellular eukaryote. Gamete or spore cells and somatic cells. Unlike gamete cells, somatic cells are asexual, non-fusing. Start of death by aging. Mitosis of diploid cells evolves. Haplodiplontic life cycle. Mitosis occurs in both haploid and diploid life stages. A captured red alga through endosymbiosis becomes a plastid in the ancestor of all chromalveolates. This is a secondary plastid endosymbiosis where an algae cell is captured instead of a cyanobacterium. Protists chromalveolates. Ancestor of Chromista, cryptophytes, haptophytes, and stromatophiles, and alveolates. Earliest certain eukaryote fossils and eukaryote filamentous multicellularity. Rhodophyta, red algae fossils. First, fungi. This begins the fungi kingdom. Like animals, fungi are heterotrophic, cannot photosynthesize, and so must feed on other living things. Protists, alveolates, ancestor of all ciliates, apicomplexans, and dinoflagellates. Oldest extant fungi phylum, Microsporidia. Protists, dinoflagellates. Excavate discicristates, ancestor of protists which have mitochondria with discoidal-shaped cristae. Includes euglenids, leishmanias, trympanosomes, and acracid slime molds. A eukaryote eye evolves, the first three-dimensional response to light. The earliest eye probably evolves from a plastid in a unicellular eukaryote. Protists stromatophiles, also called heteroconts, ancestor of all brown and golden algae, diatoms, and oomycota. Protists mesomycetozoa, also called drips. Protists oomycota, water molds. Protists rhizaria, ancestor of all radiolaria, foraminifera, and cercozoa. Fungi zygomycota, bread molds, pin molds. Protists ciliates, paramecium. Protists apicomplexa, malaria. Protists coenoflagellates. Coenoflagellates are the closest relatives to the animals and may be direct ancestors of sponges. Multicellularity evolves in a free-moving protist. This allows larger free-moving organisms to evolve. Diplontic life cycle. Organism is predominantly diploid. Mitosis in the haploid phase does not occur. The first animal and first metazoan, sponges, porifera. Metazoans are multicellular and have differentiation. Their cells perform different functions. There are only three major kinds of metazoans: sponges, cnidarians, and bilaterians. Sponges have different cell types. Some form a body wall, some secrete skeleton, some contract, and some digest food. All sponge cells are totipotent, capable of regrowing a new sponge. Male gonad, testis or testicle, evolves in a sponge. Start of 60 million year Varinger Ice Age. Cells that group as tissues that are arranged in layers evolve in metazoans. The metazoans Placozoa evolve. Fungi Chytridiomycota includes chytridiomycetes. First nerve cell, neuron, and nervous system evolves in the ancestor of the ctenophores and cnidarians. This will lead to the first ganglion and brain. Earliest touch and sound detection and memory. Muscle cells evolve in metazoans. Both the earliest known muscle and nerve cells are found in ctenophores and cnidarians. Closable mouth evolves in metazoans. Female gonad, ovary, evolves in metazoans. Animals' ctenophores evolve. Comb jellies. Animals' cnidarians evolve. Ancestor of sea anemones, sea pens, corals, and jellyfish. Earliest animal eye. Start of Ediacaran soft-bodied invertebrate fossils. The sudden appearance of Ediacaran fossils may relate to the accumulation of free oxygen in the atmosphere and sea, which may permit an oxidative metabolism. Bilateral species evolve. Two-sided symmetry. Earliest animal brain. First trypoblastic species. Third embryonic layer, the mesoderm. In most bilaterians, food enters in one end, the mouth, and waste exits at the opposite end, the anus. There is an advantage for sense organs like light, sound, touch, smell, and taste detection to be located on the head near the mouth to help with getting food. Earliest extant bilaterian, Acelomorpha, Acela flatworms, and Nemertodermatida. Acelomorpha lack a digestive tract, anus, and coelom. An intestine evolves in a bilaterian. Cylindrical gut, anus, and throughput of food evolves in a bilaterian, found in all bilaterians except Acelomorpha and Platyhelminthes. The genital pore, vagina, and uterus evolve in a bilaterian. The penis evolves in a bilaterian. End of Varinger Ice Age. Fluid-filled cavity, the coelom, evolves in a bilaterian. The first circulatory system. Blood vessels and blood evolve in a bilaterian. Cnidarians and flatworms are no more than 2 sheets of tissue thick and so allow gas exchange and nutrient distribution by diffusion. But larger animals with thicker tissues require a circulatory system to distribute materials. Bilaterians protostomes evolve, ancestor of all ecdysozoa and Lophotrachozoa. Bilaterians deuterostomes evolve, ancestor of all echinoderms, hemichordates, and chordates. The first shell or skeleton evolves in ciliates. Skeletons evolve independently in different groups. Bilaterians Chaetognatha evolve, arrowworms. Earliest teeth. Animals start to eat each other. The evolution of teeth and animal predation starts an arms race that rapidly transforms ecosystems around the Earth. Deuterostome hemichordates evolve, terebranchs, acornworms. Adult terebranchs are sessile, fastening to solid structures, but the younger or larval form is free-swimming and is thought to have evolved into tunicates and then the first fish. Deuterostome phylum Chordata evolves. Chordates are a very large group that include all tunicates, fishes, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and birds. Chordates get their name from the notochord, a cartilage rod that runs along the back of the animal in the embryo if not in the adult. The ancestor of all chordates evolves upside down. Unlike earlier invertebrates, this ancestor in all vertebrates have their nerve cord near their back and their heart near their front. Earliest extant chordate, tunicates evolve, sea squirts. Earliest animal shell, or skeleton. Earliest evidence of animals eating other animals, predation. Appearance of small shelly fossils and deep burrows correlated with a decline in stromatolites, possibly from feeding. Protostomes ecdysozoa evolve. Ecdysozoa are animals that molt, lose their outer skin as they grow. This is the ancestor of roundworms and arthropods, which includes insects and crustaceans. Protostomes Lophotrachozoa evolve. Ancestor of rotifers, phoronids, brachiopods, entoprocs, bryozoans, platyhelminthes, gastrotrix, nemertea, mollusks, and annelids. First fish. Earliest extant fish, lancelets, first liver and kidney. Ecdysozoa aschelminthes, worms, nematodes and priapulids. Lophotrachozoa brachiopods. Segmentation evolves, body parts are repeated serially. End of the Precambrian. End of the Proterozoic and start of the Phanerozoic eon. Start of the Paleozoic era and the Cambrian period. The Cambrian radiation, or Cambrian explosion, the rapid diversification of multicellular animals between 542 and 530 million years ago that results in the appearance of many between 20 and 35 of the major phyla of animals, an increase of animals with shells. Lophotrachozoa platyhelminthes evolve, flatworms. Protists radiolaria, protists foraminifera. Lophotrachozoa nemertea, ribbonworms. Ecdysozoa tardigrades. Ecdysozoa onychophorans evolve. Onychophorans are a transition between worms and arthropods. They have segmented worm-like bodies but with appendages like arthropods. The first heart evolves in bilaterians. Lophotrachozoa mollusks evolve. The phylum Mollusca is the second largest animal phylum after the arthropods and is divided into 7 classes, 3 of which, Gastropoda, snails, bivalvia, clams and mussels, and Cephalopoda, squids and octopuses, are of major importance. Lophotrachozoa annelids, segmented worms. Ecdysozoa arthropods evolve. Arthropods can be compared to a segmented worm encased in a rigid exoskeleton. The phylum Arthropoda is the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. Arthropods include the trilobites, the crustaceans, shrimps, crabs, and lobsters, the Myriapoda, centipedes and millipedes, the Chelicerata, arachnids and horseshoe crabs, and the insects. All arthropods have a segmented body covered by an exoskeleton containing chitin, which serves as both armor and as a surface for muscle attachment. Chordata vertebrates evolve. This subphylum contains most fishes and all amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and birds. Vertebrates jawless fishes evolve. Agnatha. Arthropods Chelicerata, 8 legs, ancestor of horseshoe crabs, mites, spiders, and scorpions. Earliest color vision evolves in arthropods. Deuterostome echinoderms, sea cucumber, sea urchins, sand dollars, starfish. The arthropods trilobites evolve. Ancestor of all arthropod crustaceans, shrimps, crabs, lobsters, barnacles. Arthropods Myriapoda, centipedes, and millipedes. End of the Cambrian and start of the Ordovician period. The Ordovician radiation. During the Ordovician, the number of genera will quadruple. Non-vascular plants evolve: bryophyta, liverworts, hornworts, mosses. Plants live on land. Earliest fossil spores belonging to land plants. The first animals live on land: arthropods, myriapoda, centipedes, and millipedes. The jawless fishes lampreys evolve. Jawed vertebrates evolve: Gnathostomata. This large group includes all jawed fishes, amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and birds. First vertebrate teeth. The jaw evolves from parts of the gill skeleton. Jawed fishes: chondrichthyes. Cartilaginous fishes. Ancestor of all sharks, rays, skates, and sawfishes. Earliest fungi on land. Ancestor of all terrestrial fungi. Fungi glomeromycota, arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi. Mass extinction caused by Ice Age. End of the Ordovician and start of the Silurian period. Vascular plants evolve: tracheophyta. Jawed fishes, bony fishes evolve: ray-finned fishes. The first lung evolves from the swim bladder in ray-finned fishes. Jawed fishes, lobe-finned fishes evolve: coelacanths. Arthropods, hexapods. Arthropods with 6 legs, 3 pairs, includes all insects. Lobe-finned fishes, lungfishes. End of the Silurian and start of the Devonian period. Hexapods, insects, bristletail and silverfish. Fungi, ascomycota, ancestor of yeasts, truffles, penicillium, and morels. Vascular plants, ferns evolve: club mosses, ferns, and horsetails. Cartilaginous fishes, selachii evolve. Ancestor of all sharks, includes great white, hammerhead, mako, tiger, and nurse sharks. The first forests, earliest large tree fossils. The first flying animal, an arthropod insect, ancestor of all winged insects. Pterygota, mayflies, damselflies, dragonflies. The first tetrapods, organisms with 4 feet, the amphibians, evolve in freshwater. The first vertebrate limbs, arms and legs, and fingers. Ancestor of caecilians, frogs, toads, and salamanders. Mass extinction caused by Ice Age. The first vertebrates live on land, an amphibian. Fungi, Basidiomycota, ancestor of many mushrooms. Button, chanterelle, crimini, inaki, fly agaric, oyster, porcino, portabella, psilocybe, puffball, shiitake, wood ear, rusts, and club fungi. The Neoptera, folding wing insects. End of the Devonian and start of the Carboniferous period. The first plant seed evolves, ancestor of all seed plants. The earliest fossil seed is from a seed fern, pteridosperm. Ray-finned fishes, sturgeons, and paddlefish. The Neoptera, Dictyoptera, ancestor of cockroaches, termites, and mantises. The hard-shell egg evolves, the amniota, ancestor of reptiles, mammals, and birds. The hard-shell egg is waterproof. This is the start of vertebrate internal fertilization because on land the egg cannot be fertilized as most fishes and amphibians do by a male swimming near the eggs and spraying them with sperm. The tetrapod amniota divide into the Sauropsida, which includes reptiles and birds, and the Synapsida, which includes mammals. The Sauropsids have 2 major lineages, the Parareptilia, turtles, and the Eureptilia, dinosaurs, crocodiles, and birds. The Synapsids also have 2 major lineages, Pelycosaurs, sailbacked, and Therapsids, mammal-like. The Synapsids Pelycosauria evolve, includes Edaphosaurus and Dimetrodon. Earliest extant amphibians, caecilians evolve. Seed plants, gymnosperms, ancestor of all cycads, ginkgos, and the conifers. The most primitive extant gymnosperms, the cycads, evolve now. The Neoptera orthoptera evolve, ancestor of crickets, grasshoppers, locusts, and walking sticks. Sauropsids, reptiles, evolve, ancestor of all turtles, crocodiles, pterosaurs, dinosaurs, and birds. Reptiles are a group of air-breathing amniotes with internal fertilization and scales covering part or all of their body. Like amphibians, the earliest reptiles are cold-blooded. Gymnosperms, Pinophyta, ancestor of the conifers, includes pine, fir, spruce, redwood, cedar, juniper, hemlock, larch, yew, and cypress. The Neoptera Paraneoptera, ancestor of lice, thrips, and the Hemiptera, piercing and sucking insects, cicadas, aphids, bedbugs, and stinkbugs. Neoptera Holometabulus insects, complete metamorphosis, ancestor of beetles, bees, true flies, and butterflies. Amphibians Anura, frogs and toads evolve. Stromonopoles, golden algae, Chrysophida. End of the Carboniferous and start of the Permian period. Holometabula Coleoptera, beetles. The gymnosperms ginkgos evolve. Holometabula Hymenoptera, bees, ants, and wasps. Synapsid, therapsids evolve. Cynodonts. Protists, Phaeophyta, brown algae. Includes many seaweeds like the giant kelps. Protists, diatoms. Earliest endothermic or warm-blooded and hair-growing animal. A therapsid. Endothermy is the physiological maintenance by a body of a constant temperature independent of the external environmental temperature. Hair for insulation is correlated to endothermy. Both birds and mammals are endothermic, also called warm-blooded, as opposed to many other vertebrates which are ectothermic or cold-blooded and cannot internally generate heat. Holometabola diptera, true flies, single pair of wings, ancestor of mosquito, gnat, fruit fly, and housefly. Largest mass extinction of history. End of the Paleozoic and start of the Mesozoic era, and the end of the Permian and start of the Triassic period. The supercontinent Pangaea forms. Protists haptophyta, coccolithophores. Reptiles, dinosaurs evolve. Dinosaurs divide into two major lines: ornithischians, bird-hipped dinosaurs, and saurischians, lizard-hipped dinosaurs. Saurischian dinosaurs split into two major lines, the Sauropodomorpha and the Theropoda. Sauropodomorphs are divided into prosauropods, and sauropods are mostly plant-eating and include the large, long-necked dinosaurs like Apatosaurus. Theropod dinosaurs are bipedal and carnivorous and include Allosaurus, Tyrannosaurus, and Velociraptor. All birds descend from a theropod ancestor. Mammals evolve. First mammary gland. Ancestor of all ray-finned teleost fishes evolve. Reptiles, testudines. Turtles, tortoises, and terrapins. Reptiles, tuataras. The first flying vertebrate, pterosaur. Reptiles, iguana evolve. Iguanas, chameleons, and spiny lizards. Reptiles, scleroglossa evolve. Snakes, skinks, and geckos. Teleosks, bony tongues. Mass extinction. End of the Triassic and start of the Jurassic period. Ornithischians, Thyreophora evolve. Ancestor of the armored ankylosaurs and the plated stegosaurs. Teleosts, eels, and tarpons. Reptiles, crocodilia evolve. Crocodiles, alligators, and caimans. Sauropods evolve. Ancestor of the large, long-necked dinosaurs like Apatosaurus, Brachiosaurus, and Diplodocus. Ornithischians, ornithopoda evolve. The duck-billed dinosaurs. Ancestor of the hadrosaurs. Teleosts, herrings, and anchovies. Supercontinent Pangaea splits into Laurasia and Gondwana. The northern part, Laurasia, will form North America and Europe. The southern part, Gondwana, will form South America and Africa. Holometabola lepidoptera evolve. Moths, butterflies, caterpillars. Earliest extant mammals, monotremes, evolve. Teleosts, carp, minnows, piranhas. Teleosts, salmon, trout, pike. Amphibians, salamanders evolve. Cartilaginous fishes, Botoidea evolve. Ancestor of all rays, skates, and sawfishes. Teleosts, lightfish, and dragonfish. Birds evolve. The first feather. Seed plants, angiosperms. The first flowering plant. Almost all grains, beans, nuts, fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices come from plants with flowers. Much of our clothing and many commercial dyes and drugs come from flowering plants. Angiosperms represent approximately 80% of all known green plants now living. The fruit is the ovary of a plant which encloses seeds. End of the Jurassic and start of the Cretaceous period. Earliest extant flower, Ambarella. Flowers, Nymphaeales, water lilies. The ornithischian ceratopsian dinosaurs evolve. Ancestor of Triceratops. Ancestor of all marsupials. First nipple and breast. Birds and Antiornithes evolve. Flowers, magnoliads evolve. Ancestor of nutmeg, avocado, sassafras, cinnamon, black and white pepper, camphor, bay or laurel tree, and magnolia. Flowers, eudicots evolve, the largest lineage of flowers. The two main groups of the eudicots are the rosids and the asterids. Teleosts, perch, seahorses, flying fish, pufferfish, and barracuda. Teleosts, cod, anglerfish. The eutheria, placental mammals evolve. Neornithes evolve, modern birds, the most recent common ancestor of all living birds. Flowers, monocotyledons or monocots evolve, flowering plants that have a single cotyledon or seed leaf in the embryo. Monocots are the second largest lineage of flowers after the eudicots and include lilies, palms, orchids, and grasses. Flowers, basal eudicots evolve, includes buttercup, clematis, poppy, macadamia, lotus, and sycamore. Flowers, core eudicots, cactus, caper, buckwheat, rhubarb, Venus flytrap, old world pitcher plants, beet, quinoa, spinach, grape plants. Ancestor of all placental mammals, Afrotheres evolves. Afrotheres originate in Africa and are the earliest extant placental mammals. Birds, ratites evolve. Ostrich, emu, cassowary, kiwis. Placental mammals, xenarthrans evolve. Ancestor of sloths, anteaters, and armadillos. Flowers rosids evolve. Basal rosids include pomegranate, clove, guava, allspice, and eucalyptus. Rosids fabales evolve. Ancestor of beans, pea, peanut, soy, and lentil. Flowers base monocots evolve. Ancestor of vanilla, orchid, asparagus, onion, garlic, agave, aloe, and lily. Monocots camelinids evolve. Palms, coconut, corn, rice, barley, oat, wheat, rye, sugarcane, bamboo, grass, pineapple, papyrus, turmeric, banana, ginger. Basal asterids ericales, kiwi, ebony, persimmon, blueberry, cranberry, Brazil nut, New World pitcher plants, tea. Asterids apiales evolve. Ancestor of dill, celery, cilantro, carrot, parsnip, fennel, parsley, and ivy. Asterids asterales evolve. Ancestor of tarragon, daisy, artichoke, sunflower, lettuce, and dandelion. Rosids malpighiales evolve. Ancestor of coca, rubber tree, cassava, poinsettia, willow, poplar, and aspen. Rosids brassicales evolve. Ancestor of horseradish, mustard, cabbage, broccoli, radish, and papaya. Rosids rosales evolve. Ancestor of hemp, hop, jackfruit, fig, strawberry, rose, raspberry, apple, pear, plum, cherry, peach, and almond. Asterids gentianales evolve. Includes oleander and coffee. Asterids solanales evolve. Ancestor of bell pepper, tomato, tobacco, potato, and eggplant. Rosids cucurbitales evolve. Ancestor of melon, cucumber, pumpkin, squash, and zucchini. Rosids fagales evolve. Ancestor of many flowers that produce edible nuts. Birch, hazelnut, chestnut, beechnut, oak, walnut, pecan, and hickory. Birds galliformes evolve. Chicken, turkey, pheasant, peacock, quail. Birds anseriformes evolve. Ancestor of ducks, geese, and swans. The ancestor of all placental mammal Laurasia theres evolves. The Rocky Mountains start to form. Rosids malvales evolve. Ancestor of okra, marshmallow, durian, cotton, balsa, and cacao. Rosids sapindales evolve. Ancestor of maple, lychee, mahogany, cashew, mango, pistachio, and the citrus trees, orange, lemon, and grapefruit. Ornithopods hadrosaurs, duck-billed dinosaurs. Laurasia theres insectivora evolves, ancestor of shrews, moles, and hedgehogs. Theropods dromaeosaurs evolve, raptors. Marsupials New World opossums. Afrotheres aardvark. Asterids lamiales evolve. Ancestor of many spices, mint, basil, marjoram, oregano, rosemary, sage, savory, thyme, teak, sesame, olive, ash, lilac, and jasmine. Marsupials, bandicoots, and bilbies. Two theropods are top predators, Tyrannosaurus rex in North America and Giganotosaurus in South America. Marine reptiles mosasaurs evolve. Birds Podicipediformes, grebes. Placental mammals, rabbits, hares, and pikas. Placental mammals, tree shrews and colugos. Largest pterosaur, Quetzalcoatlus. Mass extinction. End of the Mesozoic and start of the Cenozoic era, and the end of the Cretaceous and start of the Tertiary period. Start of rapid diversification of mammals. Birds Gruiformes, cranes, and rails. Marsupial moles. Marsupials Tasmanian devil, numbat. Marsupials Diprotodontia evolve. Wombats, kangaroos, possums, koalas. Placental mammals rodents evolve. Rodents Myomorpha, rats, mice, gerbils, voles, lemmings, hamsters. Primates evolve. Opposable thumb. Birds Strigiformes evolve. Owls. Laurasia theres carnivora, ancestor of cats, dogs, bears, weasels, hyenas, seals, and walruses. Primates tarsiers. Birds Apodiformes, hummingbirds, swifts. Birds Pisiformes, woodpeckers, toucans. Birds Passeriformes, perching songbirds. This order includes many common birds: crows, jays, sparrows, warblers, mockingbirds, robins, orioles, bluebirds, vireos, larks, finches. Afrotheres elephants. Afrotheres manatee and dugong. Laurasia theres Cetartiodactyla evolve. Ancestor of all Artiodactyla, also called even-toed ungulates, camels, pigs, ruminants, includes deer, giraffe, cattle, sheep, and antelope, hippos, and all cetacea, whales, and dolphins. Laurasia theres Perissodactyla evolve, also called odd-toed ungulates, horses, tapirs, rhinos. Rodents, beavers. Rodents dormouse, mountain beaver, squirrel, and marmot. Birds Psittaciformes, parrots. Horses evolve. Last common ancestor between hippos with dolphins and whales. Earliest marine mammal. Laurasia theres Chiroptera, fruit bats, echolocating bats. Rodents, Old World porcupines. Himalayan mountains start to form. Ambulocetus, an early whale. Birds falconiformes, falcons, hawks, eagles, Old World vultures. Rodents, New World porcupines, guinea pigs, capybaras. Ancestor of all primates, New World monkeys, sakis, spider, howler and squirrel monkeys, capuchins, and tamarins. Dogs evolve. Birds cuculiformes, cuckoos, roadrunners. Toothed and baleen whale lines split. Toothed whales include dolphins, sperm, and killer whales. Baleen whales include blue, humpback, and gray whales. Cats evolve. Primates, true lemurs. Ancestor of all primates, Old World monkeys, macaques, baboons, mandrills, proboscis, and colobus monkeys. The ancestor of all hominoids, gibbons and hominids, loses its tail. Monotreme echidna. Monotreme duck-billed platypus. Hominoid proconsul. Primates, gibbons. Earliest extant hominid, orangutans. Hominids, gorillas evolve. Hominids, chimpanzees evolve. Last common ancestor of chimpanzees and humans. Hominid ardipithecus, earliest bipedal primate. Hominid australopithecus evolves. Hominids use stones as tools. Hominid paranthropus, a line of extinct early bipedal hominids. Oldest formed stone tools. Humans. Hominids Homo habilis evolve. Earliest member of the genus Homo. This is when the human brain begins to get bigger. Hominids bonobos. End of the Tertiary and start of the Quaternary period. Homo erectus evolves in Africa. Homo erectus moves into Eurasia from Africa. Controlled use of fire. Homo erectus evolves less body hair. Humans wear clothing. Spear. There are 1 million humans on Earth, all hunter-gathering people. Homo sapiens evolve in Africa. Human language of 30 short sounds begins to develop. All words are single syllable. Homo neanderthalensis evolves in Eurasia. Homo sapiens move out of Africa into Eurasia. This is the beginning of differences in race within the human species. Oldest Homo sapiens skull outside Africa, in Israel. Theory of gods. Bow and arrows. Homo erectus extinct. Start of mass extinction of large mammals due in part to humans. Earliest water ship. Sapiens reach Australia from Southeast Asia. Earliest mine. Earliest sapiens fossil in Europe. Oil lamp. Painting. Earliest musical instrument. A flute. Humans catch fish. Sapiens reach China. Weaving, textiles, and coloring dyes. Humans raise dogs. Earliest ceramic object. The Venus figurines. Neanderthals extinct. Fired clay, clay dried and hardened by fire. Stone wall. Cereal gathering. Pottery. Rope. There are 10 million humans on Earth, all hunter-gathering people. Map. Cement. Humans enter America. Humans shape metal objects. Oldest city. Jericho. Saddle quern, a flat stone and a rounded stone used to grind grain into flour. Goats raised. Flax grown. Sheep raised. Pigs raised. Clay tokens that represent products used in Mesopotamia. Cows raised. Flint sickle. Wheat grown. Millet grown. Barley grown. Squash grown in Peru. Oldest known boat. A dugout boat. Earliest drum. Rice grown in China. Corn grown in Mexico. Metal melting and casting. Copper. Sailboat. Sun-dried mud brick and mud brick house. Writing on clay objects. First numbers. First stamp or seal. The first writing begins as symbols for numbers on clay bulla, hollow clay containers that hold clay tokens. These symbols represent the quantity and kind of tokens inside the bulla. Sundial, earliest timekeeping device. Earliest plow. Irrigation. Donkeys raised and used for transport. The Egyptian calendar, 12 months of 30 days plus 5 extra days. The earliest known wheel, a pottery wheel. Cotton grown. Writing on clay tablets. Symbols that represent a product such as cows, sheep, and cereals drawn with a stylus on clay tablets are the earliest record of what will become the modern alphabet. Training of scribes is an early school. Ox-pulled vehicles with wheels. The earliest record of a belief in gods and goddesses. Stringed musical instrument, lyre and harp. Written symbols combined to form words, transition from word writing to sound writing. Bronze, copper and tin, melted and casted. Inclined plane, ramp. The earliest pyramid in Egypt, designed by the earliest known scientist, Imhotep. Musical reed instruments. Earliest metal saw, iron melted and casted. Writing on papyrus. Glass making, glass beads. The earliest written stories, which consist of epics and myths, hymns and laments, proverbs and wisdom. These stories record a belief in a heaven and an underworld and include the Sumerian flood myth. Musical horn. Health science text. The first place value number system, a sexagesimal, base 60 number system. Recorded laws. Horse riding. Lock and key. Metal traded as money. First planet recognized. Venus. Oven-baked mud brick. Burned brick. Pulley. Water clock. Clepsydra. Lens. Eclipses predicted. Aqueduct. A channel to move water from one place to another. Concrete. All planets visible to the naked eye, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, are clearly distinguished from stars. Old Testament. Metal coin money. Universe explained without gods. Earth-centered universe theory. Theory that humans evolved from fish. Earth described as a sphere. There are 100 million humans on Earth. That stars are other suns and made of red-hot metal is recognized. Particle or wireless communication. The optical telegraph. Theory that all matter is made of atoms. Plato's Academy. Theory that Earth rotates. Museum of Alexandria. Musical organ. Lever. Screw. The rotation of the Earth around its own axis once a day and around the Sun once a year is understood. The size of Earth correctly calculated. Earliest observation of a comet. Earliest gears. Law of inertia. A body preserves its motion. Paper. Negative numbers. The theory that light is made of atoms that move very fast. Water wheel and elevator. Vertical lift. Steam engine. Glass prism. Encyclopedia. Compass. Library in Alexandria destroyed. Plato's Academy is closed. Windmill. Numerals 0 through 9 and decimal notation. Acids prepared. Woodcut printing. Lowercase letters. Bowed string instrument. Beit al-Hikmah, House of Wisdom, gunpowder. Norwegian explorers reach North America. Earliest rocket. Paper money. The pinhole camera. Movable type printing. University of Bologna. First cannon and gun. University of Oxford. University of Paris. Start of the Inquisition. Theory that all matter is made of light. Mechanical clock. Space described as infinite in size and stars described as other suns with inhabited planets. Wound spiral spring-driven clocks. Humans from Europe reach America. Humans circumnavigate the Earth. Sun-centered theory revived. Thermometer. Telescope. That planets have elliptical orbits is understood. Moons of Jupiter seen and their period determined. Microscope. That the sun rotates is known. Exponential notation and logarithms. Reflecting telescope. Submarine. Speed of sound measured. Frequencies of sounds measured. Cartesian coordinate system. Transit of Venus observed. Repeating gun. Earliest vacuum. The first air pump. Moon of Saturn, Titan seen. That pressure and volume of a gas are inversely related is known. Static electricity generator. Theory that light is made of particles is revived. Calculus. Differentiation and integration. Double refraction is observed. The theory that light is made of material particles is firmly established. Color determined to be a property of light, not of objects. White light separated into and recreated from primary colors. The scale of our star system is measured. Humans measure the speed of light. Direct neuron activation. Neuron writing. Human contracts muscle with electricity. Cell nucleus described. The first picture of bacteria. Law of gravitation. Matter attracts other matter with a force that is the product of their masses and the inverse of their distance squared. The size and distance of other stars is measured. The mass of the planets is determined in the theory that the universe is made of mostly empty space. The movement of the stars over long periods of time is proven. Life of Earth is systematically categorized. Storage of electricity. The capacitor. Basis of refrigeration understood. Electrolysis. Molecules are split using electricity. Water is separated into hydrogen and oxygen gases using electricity. Hydrogen gas isolated. The first self-propelled vehicle, a steam engine-powered automobile. Nitrogen gas isolated. Oxygen gas isolated. Combustion is shown to be a reaction with a gas in the air, later named oxygen. Telegraph. Planet Uranus identified. Steamboat. Human flight by balloon. Water shown to be a compound, not an element. Fusion of molecules using electricity. Water is synthesized by using an electric spark in hydrogen and oxygen gases. The first gas is liquefied. Sulfur dioxide. Air is shown to be a mixture of gases and not a single element. Electric and magnetic attraction and repulsion shown to be both proportional to amount of charge and inversely proportional to distance squared. Remote neuron activation. Remote neuron writing. Muscle contracted remotely by using an electric spark and metal connected to a nerve. Immunity by vaccination proven. The gravitational constant, the mass, and the density of the Earth are measured. Elements shown to combine in definite proportions. Electric battery. Invisible light recognized. Hydrogen and oxygen gas collected separately from electrolysis of water. The invisible light, ultraviolet light, is discovered. Frequencies and wavelengths, or particle intervals, of light determined. Glass diffraction gratings. Spectral lines identified. That atoms of different elements vary in size and mass is shown. Table of elements by atomic mass. There are 1 billion humans on Earth. Gas is shown to combine in small whole number ratios by volume. Electric light. The concept of molecules. The spectroscope, that substances emit specific spectral lines, is known. Theory that all atomic masses are a multiple of hydrogen. Electricity understood to cause magnetism. First electromagnet. Magnetism identified as electricity. Gas combustion engine. Electric motor. The first photograph. Electric printer. The first organic molecule produced from inorganic sources, urea. Electricity produced by moving a wire near a magnet. Sound vibrations are recorded by a tuning fork with an attached whisker that marks a sooted plate. The electrical transformer. The dynamic electric generator, constant current produced. Plastic. Nitrocellulose. Mechanical reaper. Speed of electricity in wire measured. Parallax of a different star measured. Parallax is the difference in the direction of an object as seen from two widely separated points, used to measure the distance to an object. Cell theory, the principle that all living objects are made of cells. Light converted to electricity. Photoelectric effect. Anesthesia used for surgery. Humans recognize spiral galaxies. Planet Neptune is observed. High voltage applied to gas-filled evacuated tubes. Light shown to move more slowly in water than in air. Earth rotation around its own axis proven experimentally with a pendulum. Theory of evolution. Humans understand their descent from a single ancestor in the process of natural selection. Humans understand that light spectra can be used to determine atomic composition. Microphone, speaker, and telephone. Sound converted to electricity and back to sound again. Quietly sending sound over long distances possible. Direct neuron reading. Electricity and nerve cells measured. Sound recording played out loud. Synthetic fabric. Artificial muscle. Slavery is ended. Electronic camera and image. Image captured and sent electronically. Invisible particle communication. Radio communication. Electricity of heartbeat measured and recorded. Motion picture camera and projector. Planet of a different star detected. Argon and inert gases identified. X-rays. Electric display. Magnetic reading and writing of data. Protein synthesized. Airplane. The first powered, sustained, and controlled airplane flight. Radar. Electric switch and amplifier. Mass spectrometer. Atoms separated by mass. Helicopter. Image sent and received by radio. Wireless telephone. Diffraction explained as particle reflection. Theory that spiral nebulae are other galaxies. The Sun is determined to be in the outer part of our galaxy. Electronic read and write memory. Atomic transmutation and atomic fusion. Atoms of nitrogen changed into atoms of oxygen by high-speed alpha particles colliding with nitrogen gas. Transistor. Women gain the right to vote. Electron microscope. Atomic fission. Lithium atoms split by protons. Image of individual atoms. Atoms confirmed to be about 0.1 nanometer in size. The first image of a virus. Bipedal robot. Self-sustained atomic fission reaction. Atomic fission explosive. Microwave oven. Double helix structure of DNA understood. The maser, the first human-made satellite. The first atomic explosion in empty space. The integrated circuit, or IC. A ship impacts the moon. A device inside the body controlled remotely. The laser, the first human to orbit the Earth. Laser writing and reading of data. A ship from Earth reaches Mars. A ship from Earth impacts Venus. Humans land and walk on the surface of the moon of Earth. The Internet. Digital electric camera. Artificial gene synthesized. Ship orbits another planet, Mars. Ship impacts Mars. Ship lands on Mars. Proteins are synthesized by adding DNA to bacteria. Ship reaches Jupiter and sends the first close-up images. Personal computer. Ship lands on Venus. External object moved by thought. Ship reaches Saturn and sends close-up images. Multicellular organism cloned. Ship reaches Uranus and sends close-up images. Microscopic electric motor. Ship reaches Neptune and sends close-up images. Individual atoms moved. Ship orbits Jupiter. Animal cloned from somatic cell. Ship lands on an asteroid. Microscopic radio chip. RFID. Nanometer scale electric motor. Ship orbits Saturn. Stem cells are used to repair damaged nerves. Ship lands on a moon of Saturn. Titan. Remote neuron reading. Image of what the eyes are seeing captured remotely. Sound a brain hears is recorded remotely. Microscopic radio. Particle transmitter and receiver. Radio device functions as cell organelle. Remote-controlled microscopic flying device. Remote neuron writing using microscopic devices and neurons. Microscopic devices enter the human body by the lung, enter the blood circulation, and position themselves as organelles inside cells. External devices communicate with the intracellular devices to make the neuron cell fire. Sounds, images, smells, and muscle contractions can be remotely activated in a brain by sending light particles to intracellular devices. Microscopic wireless camera and microphone. Microscopic flying camera. Wireless microscopic maser. Thought audio recorded and played out loud. Humans start to communicate by thought image and thought sound only. Artificial muscle bipedal robot. Lighter than motor robots. Thought images are recorded remotely using remote neuron reading and shown publicly. Bipedal robots start replacing humans in most low-skill jobs, for example as walking security cameras in fast food and fruit picking. Nanometer scale camera. Humans walk around with robot servants. These robots clean and cook for their owners. Bacteria identified and destroyed by microscopic device inside animal body. There are 10 billion humans on Earth. Cancer cell growth stopped by microscopic devices. Virus identified and destroyed by microscopic devices. Most humans communicate only by images and sounds of thought. Helicopter cars form a second line of traffic above the streets. 100 ships with humans orbit Earth. Robots walk on the moon of Earth and build buildings. Humans conquer all bacteria and viruses. Microscopic devices can identify and destroy all known bacteria and viruses anywhere inside or outside of the body. Robots walk and build buildings on Mars. Large-scale transmutation. Humans can convert most common atoms like silicon, aluminum, iron, and calcium into much more useful atoms like hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. This allows many humans to live independently of Earth, in ships and on planets and moons without air or water. First major nation to be fully democratic. Humans land on Mars. The first moon colony. Nucleic acid changed by remote control microscopic devices. Humans live on Mars. Humans land on Mercury. Robots and other machines have replaced humans in most manual labor tasks, including driving, cleaning, and food planting, harvesting, preparing, and serving. 1,000 human-filled ships orbit Earth. Humans live on Mercury. Microscopic devices repair, regrow, and reshape damaged cells. Humans live on a moon of Jupiter. Human-filled ship orbits the Sun. Humans land on a moon of Saturn. Humans land on a moon of Uranus. Humans orbit Neptune and land on a moon of Neptune. A ship reaches another star, Alpha Centauri. The first close-up pictures of planets and moons of a different star. Smaller ships land on all the planets and moons of Centauri. Living objects on planets of another star identified. Bacteria made of DNA. Removal of Venus atmosphere is started. End of death by aging. Ship reaches Sirius. Humans create atoms from light particles. Photon fusion, the reverse of separating atoms into light particles. The first large ship to reach a different star, Alpha Centauri. Humans consume an asteroid. Humans live on Venus. Humans change the motion of a moon of Jupiter. Humans change the motion of a planet, planet Earth. A ship impacts the surface of Jupiter. The first image of the surface of Jupiter. The solid and liquid body of Jupiter is confirmed to be 6 times the diameter of Earth. Start of the removal of the Jupiter atmosphere. Ships with robots reach the second closest star, Barnard Star. A ship from Centauri reaches Earth and returns the first objects from a different star. Humans reach a different star, Alpha Centauri. Humans now live around 2 star systems. End of major religions. The motion of Mars is controlled by orbiting ships. The atmosphere of Venus is completely removed. The motion of Jupiter is controlled by orbiting ships. The atmosphere of Jupiter is completely removed. Humans have ships at 10 star systems. The rings of Saturn are consumed. Humans land on Jupiter. The Venus atmosphere is like the atmosphere of Earth. Humans live on Jupiter. Motion of all planets under human control. The first image of advanced living objects that evolved around a different star. Motion of star controlled. Star of Earth moved in direction of Centauri. Centauri is moved towards the star of Earth. Humans touch advanced living objects that evolved around a different star. Humans form a cluster of 4 stars, the Sun and the 3 stars of Centauri. 1 trillion humans. Humans inhabit 100 stars and form a globular cluster of 10 stars. Humans inhabit 1,000 stars and form a globular cluster of 100 stars. All asteroids are consumed. Humans reach the center of the Earth. Earth is completely filled with living objects. There is no more molten material inside the Earth. All the molten compressed matter was extracted, cooled, and consumed, mostly as building materials, fuel, and food. Humans inhabit 10,000 stars and form a globular cluster of 1,000 stars. Human-made globular cluster of 10,000 stars leaves the plane of the Milky Way galaxy. The moon of Earth population reaches the maximum possible, 200 quadrillion. Planet Mercury is completely filled with living objects. The population of Mars reaches the maximum. All planets of star of Earth consumed. The star of Earth is consumed. Sirius consumed. 10 to the power 100 humans. All the stars in the Milky Way galaxy belong to a globular cluster. The Milky Way globular galaxy integrates the matter of the Magellanic Cloud galaxies. The Milky Way and Andromeda globular galaxies join.